Uh, so, hello Rashid, how are you doing? How's everything going so far?
Oh, good, thank you. Just came back to Greece, so we have a little break before the next, let's say, race. So yeah, all good.
And yeah, so how are you feeling about your season so far?
No, I think overall it's quite happy with the progression. Honestly, I think it's really early still to, let's say, finish off some points, but I think I'm really happy with how the team were able to work, how I'm growing. I think that's the key part for me, which is like how am I able to take the steps forward for the path that I need to make, and I think so far it's going quite well.
And you got your first win in Formula Regional just a few weeks ago. What has changed from last season to this season?
Well, I mean, yeah, that win was like honestly the quite unexpected. It was at the end of reverse grid, but like still starting from P11. I think we believed in the pace that we had, and I think things had to go right because whenever you race, things can go wrong or can't go your way, which is always a possibility. So that was a really fun race to go through the pack, and I think this season. Definitely, I think in terms of pace, I've been able to extract a bit better out of what I can do in the car. I think also a bit the consistency, which is very key for building a proper championship and also for developing properly. And I think this car allows better racecraft. So that's a new challenge, but at the same time, it's also something that I can use during the races to, let's say, gain a few positions if needed and to actually, let's say, battle it out.
And what would you say are like the main differences between the Formula Regional cars that you drive now and the F4 cars that you drove back then?
Well, I would say the regional, of course, is stronger, a little bit less more weight as well. But I would say the power to weight ratio is a little bit better. And I would say to drive compared to the F4 is quite different because there's a few aspects like the differential, which what plays a role in how we drive that on the F4 is very different. So I would say generally like the main philosophy or like the main fundamentals kind of stay the same, but it's always that fine tune of using a bit more of the aerodynamics in when we're racing. There's a bigger difference with dirty air, and then in the Freca we have the push to pass, which actually is very key during the races because it's a 25 horsepower boost for 100 seconds. So if you play it right, you can gain a lot of positions, but at the same time you need to be very aware about the situation. And I think, of course, the level in the frac is a step forward. Like all of us drivers, we learn from what we do in F4 and we try to improve further in frac. So I think every year it's a step forward.
And what about compared to karting? I know it's a long time ago, but
No, I mean, I still like to go karting every once in a while. I think it's always nice because we have a lot of sim, but we don't really have that feel of, what the feeling what something or like four wheels and an engine what it's doing when we're driving it. So I would say karting compared to Formula, there's like not a suspension. There's a lot of aspects that are different. So how you transfer the load, certain, let's say, key features about what allows you to go fast in the Formula car is not present in karting, but at the same time, you always have that raw feel of what the kart is doing, trying to get the right line, and then of course racecraft and all those aspects are very important.
and what is the vehicle that you've most enjoyed driving so far?
Well, I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to drive too many, but I would say, of course, the Frac, the latest one is the best so far because it's the fastest. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the future will bring.
And as a kid, you were nicknamed the Little Alonso. You've actually met him, by the way.
Yeah.
Is he still your idol? And how has he inspired you?
Well, yeah, I would say he's still someone that I really admire. I think, of course, for me, it's more the personality that he brings to the paddock, which I really like. For example, the fact that even though maybe this year the car isn't great, he's still fighting to make as many laps or to make the best possible first few laps of the race and try to make something happen. And to me, he was always, whenever I met him, he always told me, I think, key things. I mean, one of them was, practice, practice, practice. That's all you have to do. And for me, looking at what he does, looking at the energy and the passion that he brings, even though it's been a long time he's been racing, is something very, I would say special. And I think that's quite cool to look after.
And you're also part of the Mercedes junior team. You signed in 2025. How have they helped you so far?
Well, I would say it's, since 2025, they've really helped me progress as a driver. So I'm really happy with how we've been able to work. There's always someone on track or, let's say, following me and giving advice. I think this, let's say, path or this journey, hopefully reaching Formula One is not easy. There's always, let's say, hard situations and situations that you can learn from someone with more experience. So I think on that side, they've really helped me. And of course, they really understood what I need to help, let's say, fulfill all the potential that I have, or to, let's say, progress as a driver. And with that targeted work, I think this year I've been really able to make progress.
And you mentioned the sim before. Do you use them a lot? Is it hard to switch from like a simulator back into the real car? And what's the biggest difference between the two?
Well, definitely the feel is like very difficult to have when you're, I think, on the sim. Even though the steering can be close, it's not the same with like all the vibration, but also the forces that your body feels when you're in the car. But yeah, I like to use the sim. I think it really allows you to focus on the technical or fundamental parts about driving. But that last touch, or that what I really like, is the feel that when I'm in the car, of course, is a bit lacking. So I try to balance it out. I think before a race weekend, we really try to target and try to get all the variables right, because once you get on track, we have limited time driving. So each aspect is very important. So I think, yes, I like to do a lot of sim, but if it's just random, then it actually, I think, can harm, let's say, your preparation.
And when you're progressing, what do you think the best racing advice that you've ever been given? Biggest
Well,
advice.
yeah, I would say, like, of course, the advice from Fernando is very helpful. I was a small kid, I think around maybe 4 years old or 5 years old, and he told me, look, practice, practice, practice. But I think there's, many quotes from many drivers that you can really take let's say, the idea from and try to apply it when you're racing. Like even Ayrton Senna, like if there's a gap, you have to go for it. I mean, those things are. Of course, you cannot take it to the exact letter all the time. You have to be smart with it, but it gives you the idea that you need to really go for it every time you're in the car. And I think it's an opportunity that not everyone has. So you really need to enjoy it, but yeah, do the absolute maximum.
And you've obviously faced it against a lot of good drivers. What would you say is the best driver you've ever driven against?
Well, I would say it's difficult to pick out one, because I think each driver has their strengths, and I mean, some have their weaknesses. Honestly, I think this year the level in Freck is really high, and it's really fun because you have to really build the event from the start. And then once you get on track and when you battle it out during the races, it's very interesting how each driver approaches it differently. So for me, it's difficult to give a specific name, but yeah, I think a lot of the drivers I've competed with until now are at really high level.
And what's a driver you would like to drive against in the future?
Well, it would really depend on, I would say, if I can bring some people back from the past. But I think, like at this moment, Max Verstappen is at an incredibly high level. So for me, it would be very interesting to be in the same car with him and see, let's say, what makes him go really fast. But honestly, it would be also quite cool to be a teammate with Kimi or George, because the goal is hopefully to reach Formula One. So yeah, that would be cool.
And what's the most enjoyable track you've ever driven at?
I really liked Macau. I think Macau was a special track. It really gives an incredible energy when you're in the car. Like the adrenaline is just out of this world. And At the end, it's actually a really fast and flowing track. I always say, okay, if we take away the walls, it's still an incredible track, but just the walls give it that last perfect touch.
And what about a track you'd like to drive in that you haven't done so yet?
Mhm. I would say Suzuka is a name that would come from to my mind. I think also like the Singapore F1 track is really cool. Um, but yeah, I think I mean there's way too many tracks that are really cool to drive. So also I think Jeddah is actually quite nice.
And you're in a good form right now. What do you think is the best race you've ever done so far?
Well, I mean, even that, like, for example, the first win this year, I would say it's a really nice, nice win because starting from P11 and then finishing P1 was actually really cool. But even the race afterwards, unfortunately, we started P15 or 16, and I finished fifth. So that was actually again a really cool comeback. But yeah, I'm really happy with the races so far this year. I think they're quite fun. I don't think all of them went our way, but it can never go always your way. So overall, I think it's more the experience of when we're in the car battling. I think Red Bull Ring and Spa really allowed a great battle on track, and that's I think the best.
And what's a historic vehicle you would like to drive if you were given the choice of anything?
I actually drove once, which was really, really cool, is the Mercedes Going. That was really, really cool. And it was actually quite a cool experience because it was the first time I drove stick. So I had to like figure it out without destroying the gears. But yeah, that was actually really cool. And well, of course, if I have to look back and looking at the the Formula One cars back in the day, like in I believe 1990s, where Senna used to race. I think those cars are really cool because it's let's say huge engine and let's say little downforce compared relative to today. So also those cars would be cool to drive that I haven't had the chance yet.
You mentioned little downforce, but how would you describe your preferred setup in the car?
Well, normally it would be whatever allows me to go fastest around the track. But yeah, if you ask my team, I'm normally the one that asks for the more front end. So I believe, or I like when the front end is strong. I feel like the tools that I'm able to use to, let's say, compensate or to help out the balance normally allows you to go faster. So for that reason, I really like. That pointy front, but at the end it's a balance, like all things, and overall the car needs to be quite balanced out. But yeah, if I had to pick on what side of the balance I had to be, I'd be more on the front end.
You mentioned speed. What's the fastest you've ever gone on a straight, and what does that feel like?
I think probably the fastest might have been in Macau or in Spa. Um, I believe the speed was like maybe 250, something like that. I don't really remember, but it doesn't really feel fast, to be honest. Like we're looking so far ahead that, or we're looking at the corner, so we don't really perceive the speed as much, and we more perceive it like when we go back home, like which happens to me often, where I don't have my driver's license yet. So someone has to bring me back home, and when I sit in the side seat and we're going at the speed limit of the highway, like to me it feels like we're like stopped, which is very funny. So I guess it's more we're so used to driving fast that it's more driving at the speed limit on the road, which feels slower relatively.
What's the best overtaking move you've ever made?
Best. I really liked, for example, last race in Belgium. I liked the move I did in the first corner because it really was, I think, something interesting strategically. It wasn't like something out of this world in terms of overtake, but it was actually really cool because, well, one, it was a bit of, let's say, a dive bomb, but in a controlled way. Like it wasn't, absolute last resort. But the way it strategically played out during the race, I think was quite cool. And yeah, I think I had an overtake also this year in corner number 7 in Rebel Ring, which is quite an unusual place. So I think that was also quite nice.
And how do you practice your start so you don't stall when the green light hits?
Well, touch wood. Normally, we have the opportunity to do practice starts during the race weekend or like even before the race. I think it's really important to kind of get that connection with the clutch to feel where what we call the biting point is. But basically, if you go on a road car and you have a clutch, it's the moment where the clutch starts to become stronger again and like it presses harder on your foot. So you need to really know where that position is. And at the end, it's kind of trial and error. Like as much as we'd love to do a mega star every race, it's not possible. So I think it's very important also on the mental side to be quite calm and to, let's say, just do what you know you can do rather than trying to find something special. And yeah, at the end, it's, I guess, a journey as well. Like all things, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better it is. And at the end, the target is understanding the feel and how the engine responds to how much clutch you release and finding that middle way.
And if you had to choose one track to race in reverse, which one would you think is the most fun to do?
Race in reverse. I mean, there's a few like Spa would be really cool because you'd have to do a Rouge the other way around. It would be really, I think, interesting. Macau, unfortunately, my favorite track. I don't think it would be possible because there's the hairpin that's way too tight. Um, I mean, I think I need to try around. I never properly thought about what tracks would be nice the other way around, but generally, like I think if I had the opportunity to try, I would try a Rouge the other way around.
And okay, so just to end off, if you could change just about anything in motorsport, what would it be?
Um, well, that would be difficult to say, to be honest. Make the cars faster, but I think now currently what's a struggle in like all categories, how to manage the dirty air. I think Formula One is really working on it, and we've seen in the last years that they found solutions. But yeah, I mean, if I had a magic wand, I would love to take it away because it makes racing a lot cooler. But it adds also an element of strategy during the races, so it's a double-sided part about racing. And well, let's see. Hopefully, I believe that Formula One will find a way, and then it will be passed down to the junior categories.
Right, so many thanks, Rashid.
Thank
Got a
you.
Formula Regional Championship leader here. So yeah, many thanks for your time and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.